Hi there, YouTube. It's, I decided to do a remake video of this train set because I got some new cars for it, and also because my last video wasn't really descriptive, and it was upstairs in my room, so I couldn't show the big track with the most track that it could have it in. But anyways, I'm gonna just close these blinds here so that you can get a better view of the set. And the blinds aren't working right. They're doing that. Dang. Hang on a second. Okay, that's better. Got the blinds closed here. But anyways, a little bit of history behind this set. I got this set when I was very little from my grandpa. And this is the New Bright Holiday Express train set, number 380. I got it from my grandpa, and originally the only cars that he gave me were the engine, the tender, post office car, the candy dancer, and the caboose. And I had those for the longest time. Then just recently I was able to get these two cars off of Craigslist. And so now I added these to the collection. And I do have the original boxes. They are right here. Let me turn the light on so you can see. So here's the box for the main set. And it's the 1998 limited edition. But all the cars have stickers on the bottom of them except for the 3 add-on cars, the post office car and those 2 cars. And they all have stickers on them that say 1997. So my guess is that this was made in 1997, but it wasn't boxed until 1998, so that's why there's that. This is also a very rare version of this set that features replaceable incandescent light bulbs, and it has metal wheels with pickups on each wheel for the cars. So it's a rare version. It also has different sounds, slightly different sounds, but yeah, this version is really a lot rarer than the newer version, which has LEDs and it has different sounds. And the tender has 2 wires on it. The later sets the tender only has 1 wire coming out of it. So, yeah. And then here the box is the post office car box. Of course, is more beat up because it's been through more. And then the 2 new cars, the water tanker skating car and the log mill wood car. So. Take a look at it. This is a G-scale train. Take a look at it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on, and turning it on only turns on all the lights. It doesn't turn the train on. You have to push the forward or reverse button to make the train move. So push the button, and I call this standby mode. You can see it jumped forward there. It's done that all the time. But anyway, I'm going to go over each car. Each car has a little animated scene that'll goes into motion when the train is put into the forward or reverse functions. And each car has working lights on it, either that are lit constantly, that light up in different sequences, or that light up when the train goes into motion. So I'm going to just start over here with the engine. This is a 440 locomotive. It is very nicely detailed, of course. It's in a color scheme of tan, red, and a little bit of green, but the later ones, they made several color schemes of this. Some of them are red, green, and a little bit of tan. Some are all red and with just a little bit of green. Some have the front cap here as silver. Some of them have it as brass, painted brass, of course. Yeah, there are a whole bunch of different variations. This is, I think, the rarest one. The earliest one. Might not be the rarest, but it's one of the earliest variations. Also, another thing I didn't mention is that this set is the best quality version of the set they made. The later ones are a little bit not as good quality. That's not saying they're not bad sets. They are great sets. It's just that, But, yeah, I love these big red wheels that it has. It has the Holiday Railroad Company, Joy to All, Santa's Fe, and on the other side, the Joy to All thing on this side is missing, It used to be missing on this side, but since this is the side you're supposed to see, I switched it to this side. And that went missing some time ago. I remember I was looking at photo albums, and it was there in the photo album, so it's probably somewhere down in the crawl space somewhere, no doubt. It features flashing boilers, or stacks right here, whatever you want to call them, that flash back and forth like that, alternating like that. This one here is just a regular, boiler stack thing. This one has a bow on it that flashes. And you can actually take these off to, of course, to replace the light bulbs. If I can get it off, you just squeeze the sides and, well, you get the idea. The other one comes off much easier, actually. Yeah, there it is. You can see light bulb. I'm not going to go into detail with that, but so there's also a headlight, a working headlight right in the front here that will turn on when the train is lit or when the train is put into motion. And there are lights inside of Santa's cabin here that will turn on when the train is put into motion. The later version featured only one flashing boiler, only that boiler flashed. That one didn't even have any lights in it. And the lights inside of Santa's cabin were lit all the time, rather than just when the train is in motion. The animation on this train car is the elf here will move back and forth like this, pulling the rope to ring the bell right there. And Santa Claus here, he will twist left and right on his chair like that, waving to all the people in his path. And you can actually twist his upper body, so you can have him wave to that side or to that side, just like that. But I like to keep him in the middle. Yeah. So yeah, here's moving on to the tender car. This is the car that controls. It has the brains as the system, pretty much. There's the circuit board in there for all the sounds and the animation and the functions, whether to tell the train to go into forward or reverse, and it has the circuits and the programming for the light sequences, and yeah, pretty much all that stuff. The lights on this car, it features 4 flashing presents. There are 3 gifts and a drum that flash in different sequences, and it runs through 5 sequences. I think I went into detail in those sequences in one of my previous videos. And there's a flashing treetop star that flashes. Actually, it's an indicator of whether the sound is on or off. Bring the controller over here. When the sound is on, it'll flash slowly, and when you push the mute button to turn the sound off, the star will flash rapidly. So it's an indicator. Let's turn the sound back on. Yeah, there's also a lamppost right here that lights up when the train is put into motion, and there's a little elf in the toolbox and there's a light down there that lights up when the train is in motion. Now, for the animation on this car, of course, there's an elf right there holding wood that he'll move back and forth, turning left and right, putting wood into that pile right there, and then the elf right here, he goes up and down inside the toolbox. And of course, this tender has 2 wires and plugs rather than 1 wire like the newer ones. Now, moving on to the post office car. This car, of course, is the only add-on car that I got along with the set that my grandpa gave me. And it features lights inside of the cabin, a light in that window and a light in that window, a lighted clock face there. There's a glowing fire that flickers, fades in and out like that. Of course, there's a lamppost right here above Santa that lights up when the train is put into motion, of course. The animation on this car is Santa will rock back and forth in his chair while he's reading his letters, and the elf right here, his arm moves up and down to stamp the letters. Now, 3 cars, except with the exception of the engine, the tender, the water tanker skating car, and the log car, have buttons on them, so you can push and hold them and the animation will run. So this car, the Candy Dancer, and the Caboose. So I'm going to push and hold that button, and the button is right there on all the cars, and you see the animation start up. You can see Santa rocking, and the lamppost came on, and the elf right there, he's stamping letters. So there. I don't know why they didn't put buttons on these cars. I mean, I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to move the train up a little bit so we can see the rest of the cars. So now we've got the water tanker skating car. This car was one of the ones that I got recently, and it's a little bit different. This car features lights in the pond that will flash in the different patterns or sequences in conjunction with the tender. And there's a light up gift right here that flashes also in the sequences. There's a light underneath the water spout right there that's steady lit. There's a lamppost that lights up, of course, when the train is in motion. The animation is there's an elf here that spins around like that, and there's an elf here. He's a magnet, so he just sticks on that black box right there. And he skates back and forth here, and as he does, he spins around like that. There's also an elf up here that pumps the water. He pumps water, he makes this piece go up and down like that. It looks like this gift is flickering like that, but it's not. That's just how it looks. It's just doing that in the camera, I don't know why. But it actually just fades, kind of. Yeah. So, the animation, there's no button on this car because something different. The animation on all the other cars except for that car, of course, in this car, are driven by motors inside of each car. But this car and this car, the animation is driven by the wheels. And that's also like that on the later sets with LEDs and one wire and different sound. The animations are all driven by the wheels. So that's why there's no button there. I don't know if I like that or not, because I mean there's no button, and the speed of the animation is affected by how fast the train is going, so I don't know. Anyways, moving on to the log mill wood car, or sometimes called the logger car. This car features a light inside the cabin, right there. There's a lamppost that lights up when the train is in motion. And the animation on this car features this elf here chops the wood in half like that. He moves up and down like that. And there's a log inside of that trap door here, and it goes in and out and pushes this trap door open and close like that. It kind of gives the effect that the logs are coming out on the chute here. This guy doesn't cut the wood. He doesn't move at all, but you can actually move his hands manually. Conveyor belt there looks like it should move, but it doesn't move. This car I'd like to see some improvement on. I don't know why, but there's not a lot of lights on this car. Maybe make the conveyor belt move, I don't know, but just something else. I mean, this car has potential. It's a cute car. I mean, this is my sister's favorite car. My favorite car is the post office car and the candy dancer. So, let's push this train up a little more. And now we're moving on to the candy dancer. Oh, and of course this car has the animation driven by the wheels. The candy dancer car. Features light up candy snow here. Gumdrop lights, I guess. That light up in the sequences, of course. Actually, I'm going to start the sequences over so you can see them. But, yeah, they light up in different sequences along with the tender. And there's no other lights. The later version had a light right here. An LED right up here pointed at that elf, and another one pointed at that elf. This is the car I had a lot of problems with because the plug became frayed. I took it apart and it shorted out the lights on the tender, but I bought a new tender. Of course, you saw that video. You've seen all those videos probably. If you haven't, you can always search them, but sometimes the yellow light will go out as it goes along the track, but that doesn't really concern me because, I mean, the caboose, that would have affected the lighting sequence on the water tanker skater car, but not on the caboose, so I just put it right before the caboose. And the animation still works. So the animation is the two elves there, they work the pump right there, like that, and then the gifts on top here rotate. Now I'm going to show you the animation, pushing the button. You see it? And onto the caboose. There are some lights inside of the cabin here that light up, and you can actually take off the cupola, and there's one in the cupola and one in the cabin. In the later version, there was only a light that flashed in the cupola, and there were lights in each window that were steady burning. But yeah. So it kind of gives the effect that there's a light in this window and a light in that window. And on the back, there's a light in the back window. Oh, I got a friend here coming to explore the train. Yeah, she likes it. There's a lamppost that turns on when the train is in motion. And there's a conveyor belt with toy soldiers that will go into Santa's bag. Shoo, get out of here. You're not in the video. This isn't your video. Anyway, the conveyor belt with toy soldiers that go into Santa's bag. And there's an elf here that moves left and right like this. And this elf doesn't actually move, but you know. And I'm gonna run the animation for you now. So you can see. Oh, there he goes. Yeah, this is a pretty nice train set. I really like all the animations. So now, I only have 3 minutes left. So I'm gonna show you some of the sounds that it has. The sounds are a little bit different. So I'm gonna do the ho 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 sound.
Merry Christmas!
And now the bell. And the whistle. And the all aboard.
All aboard?
Now when you push the forward button, the whistle will blow, then the conductor will yell all aboard. All the animation will start up. And then the whistle will blow and the conductor will yell all aboard. Then the train will start moving. The lights will go into a sequential pattern and it'll make a chuff, 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 chuff noise as it goes along the track. And the chuffing is different on this set than it is on the later set. So I'm going to push the forward button. And away she goes.
All aboard?
I'm going to speed it up a little bit. You hear the speed of the chuffing increase. Get faster. I'm going to slow it back down. Now I'm going to stop it. And there, when the steam gets released when the train stops. So that is the New Bright Holiday Express. Thanks for